Welcome back, Sleepers of the Sands, to another Dune Deep Desert Resource and Blueprint Guide for the week of November 18th to the 24th. That's right, we have a lot of interesting island formations out there for us to be setting up our bases and trying to get all of that good stuff that you find out in the deep desert. But first, I would like to take a quick second to just thank everybody who is taking time to leave comments, like, subscribe, and hype these videos out there on YouTube. You guys are making these videos just shoot into the universe and bringing larger audiences together for us all to be sharing in on the common knowledge that everyone needs to know in order to be successful inside of Dune Awakening. Thank you very much, and I appreciate your efforts dearly. And taking a look at this week's deep desert map, you can see that there is a lot of real estate. In fact, this might be the very first time that I can remember since the beginning of the game where there is hardly any blank squares. Everything is pretty much filled with an island, so it's going to be very easy to get out here and find real estate close to that PvP border that we are usually looking for. It's not really spread out. Like I said, almost every single square is going to have something in it. Some islands, of course, are bigger than others. However, you can definitely count on the fact that you will not have trouble getting out there on your server and finding a location for you to place a base to go out there and get all the stuff that you're looking for. And the first thing that you're going to want to be looking for, obviously, is getting that titanium and stravinium out here this week. It's the same as last week. They've more or less just fitted the stravinium and titanium big islands right jam smack in the middle of the map. I think this is a good cause because people have been needing it, and just keeping those options out there where you can hop over there, mine lots of it, and then bring it back to your base very quickly is definitely beneficial for the general audience that's playing the game at the moment, just to get everyone to where they need to be before we start seeing some more updates into the game. However, as you can see, the map in this turn is going to be more or less just split down the middle. That's Chinese character for Jung, so it's kind of middle. It's fitting, I guess. Now, in terms of what we are looking at here is they've literally just mismatched and given us exactly what we need. They've done the stravinium like this. They've done, or sorry, the stravinium such as this, the titanium facing the other way. So everything's jam smack in the middle, ready for you to jump out there and to grab. Now, throw in the fact that they've given us 6 large spice plumes, 2 right there on the border, 1 on F1, 1 on F5, and of course 4 of them laying deep, I2, I4, I7, and of course H9. You can kind of see a picture getting painted where, once again, I am just splitting the map dead smack in half this week, where I usually have it into 3 different quarters going east, west, and center. This week, I think that they've pretty much put so much on the map that we don't really have to consider where we are going to set up. Of course, it's looking like there's more spice leaning more to the west side than the east side. However, you'll see that gets countered a little bit later once we start taking a look at the other POIs that get dropped, such as the caves. As we do see, there are 2 large caves as usual. There's G3 is going to be our PvP cave, and D8 is going to be our PvE cave. So once again, dividing that map in half, we are starting to see a picture getting painted. There's quite a bit over here on the west side for us, but nothing too overbearing. It just depends on what you are going for. If you are a person who just goes for the PvE aspect of those caves with the given resources that you can grab on the map, you can just stay there on the east side very comfortably if there's no space over here at the end of the day. Which brings in the ship content, because we have the large shipwrecks, and as you can see here, we have the D8, E3, sorry, D6, E3. We have F7 at the very bottom and I5 at the top. So with these 4 large shipwrecks, now we can see that they are balancing out the east from the west a little bit in a different way. As you have the cave and 1 ship over here on the west side, you now have more or less 2 ships, and I'm going to go ahead and count that I5 because it kind of leans over on the edge. However, depending on where you build up your base, you can always just reach it equally, without much effort. But as you can see, we are starting to see a more balance to the map in terms of where they are starting to set stuff up for us to start gauging where our possible base locations are going to be for this week. And of course, throwing in those Imperial testing stations, they kind of have thrown it very equally for us. There's only one PvE Imperial testing station this week, which is a little bit sad, but understandable because they have overloaded the ships on the east side. So it looks like they're going to give us 2 Imperial testing stations PvP wise, one in F4, one in I1, deep I1. And of course, you have the H8 PvP Imperial testing station on the east side. And that PvE there on E8, not such a big deal. If you are jumping out there trying to get stuff out of it, it is kind of worth having a base somewhere around that E8 area, but that is also taking away possibilities for us to build our bases up on that side of the map itself. And we can definitely see that there is more real estate more or less on that west side for us than it is on the east side. And I think with all of the large spice plumes as well as the cave and of course the Imperial testing stations all kind of weighing in heavily on the west side, I would definitely say it is both equal yet measurably different in terms of where you should be setting your base up. And I would definitely say, once again, the west side of the map in general is going to be your better spot because there is just more real estate out there that's not being taken up by, say, a crashed ship or Imperial testing station or a PvE cave. These are all areas that are points of interest that are going to take away your option of how close and how far away you can put stuff onto rocks. It's not saying that you can't find a place to fit out there, and it's not a bad idea to set up on the east. I'm just saying that the more convenient end of the map this week is on the west side. Not only that, you got 4 spice plumes that you can reach into. We know that they don't always spawn, so the more options that you have out there with the large spice plumes is obviously going to outweigh the weaker side with the spice plumes. And of course, the large shipwrecks are the place that we want to primarily be diving to get lucky with our weapon choices. However, I will say that the west side is more than likely your best option when it comes to setting up a base because you do once again have access to the large shipwrecks in pretty much close proximity, so you don't have to literally worry about flying too far to get them. And of course, you have those additional spice plumes, which makes it even sweeter on top of the deal. Now, as always, if you do have a working ornithopter and you are not jumping out to the deep desert every week, you should be jumping out here into that A row and making sure that you are getting into all those Imperial testing stations. This is PvE. I've heard somebody last week say, I can't fight these guys because I'm still brand new to the game. More than likely, you will not have to fight anyone because people are running these things on repeat and they usually are just killing all the mobs inside. All you have to do is run in, loot the chest, and get that 180 free intel every single week. And of course, knowing what is in those loot tables is also paramount for knowing what you want and where you want to be building your bases. Obviously, if you are going for the PvE cave, you can find the Compactor Mark 6 to focus buggy cutter array MK6. If you are a solo grinder, these two will definitely help you out a lot in grabbing the resources, not only in the deep desert, but also back in the Haga Basin. And of course, that replica pole sword is never a bad thing to have with its multi-stun effect whenever you block multiple things at one time. And of course, the It Core leggings are not a bad light armor set to be throwing into the mix whenever you have a chance. And of course, moving into the PvE testing centers, you have lower chances to get good stuff, but you can always get that replica pulse knife. You can also get the young Sparky MK6, as well as that adaptive Holtzman shield, which are all paramount for keeping yourself very safe and alive defensively. Not to mention the power harness, which I absolutely love and cannot play games without. And of course, moving into the PvP testing sites, you get a much higher chance and option to get the same things. Adding on to that list, you get that black market las gun, which can be dropped at a 1% chance, the Carterizer, and the Dune Watcher, which are both excellent weapons for you to be running around with, not to mention the power harness and the adaptive shield with that young Sparky Mark 6, which draws in the PvP caves, which have become rather popular here lately as for solo players like jumping in there and grabbing it, because here you can of course grab the entire pin cushion armor set out of these things, as well as that triple shot repeating rifle and that compactor Mark 6. These are all definitely things that you want to be trying to go for, especially when it comes to the pincushion. This is a great armor set for you to be jumping out into the deep desert and keeping yourself alive. which leads us into the final loot table, that of the large wrecked ships. This is where I go for all of my weapon needs, as you have the perforator, the replica pulse knife, replica pulse sword, the shellbuster, and that Regis disruptor pistol, not to mention a few other items that are of lesser tier but are still very much so important for you to stay alive out in the deep desert. So make sure that you are building your bases around the proper point of interest that you can find on the map and trying to stay alive, which brings us to our final segment. And as always, my favorite time of the day, which is telling everyone exactly how awesome they are because they are taking time to leave comments and ask questions in the comment sections of the video. You guys are the best. You are keeping me fueled to do this every single week. The first thing that we need to bring up is the winner of last week's free deluxe set of Dune Awakening. It went to Tortor65. He was number 48 on the list, and after I punched the random number generator 25 times, 48 was the number that came in. Tortor says that he's gotten that copy. I'm glad to hear that, Tortor. Have fun. I hope that either you use it or you give it to somebody you know to keep the population of the game expanding, because we need more people out here in the game. And Thug2393 has left a great comment, and let me tell you, Thug, you are making my life so great by posting these comments up here and leaving these kind, encouraging words that it makes me want to make multiple videos for you each week. Thank you so much for being considerate and kind and leaving that message. We also had Erminio Santiago, who said, thank you for the weekly guide. I love them. Thanks, Erminio. I hope that they're helping you, and I'm glad that you're enjoying them. It is mission accomplished every time I hear someone say this, and it just makes me so proud of the fact that we are all working together as a community to make these type of content videos come out to help the environment of Dune Awakening. And on a final note, we have Casturi8773. He said he just got his sandcrawler and has found a friend to go out there and help him mine it. Casturi, welcome to the end game, my friend. Now sit back and enjoy the thousands of easy units of spice that you and your sandcrawler are going to be picking up over the next few weeks. Enjoy that and be very careful, because the Oshai Halud has a nasty habit of chomping down on people who do not pay attention to the warning signs, and you don't want to lose that sandcrawler in the first week. Make sure that everything goes smooth, and I hope that your spice harvesting goes well. Once again, everybody, thank you for taking time to leave comments and joining in on that raffle for the deluxe edition. If you did not win, do not worry. There are going to be multiple other events coming up here in the near future and the far future, as I am focused to helping everybody get stuff that they want and increase the number of people playing this game. Everybody, thank you for watching and have a great day.